blogging on the right platforms where there's already embedded audiences, and then having a very simple, clear, compelling call to action taken to a landing page, giving something very simple and specific away. Blogging in and of itself as a concept doesn't necessarily work for a lot of people. It's blogging on the right platform.
The internet has made it easier than ever to start a business. Succeeding on the internet, now that's another story. The big question is, what are those who are succeeding doing differently? This podcast has the answers. Hi, my name is Lisanne Murphy. I've spent the last 3 years running a successful advertising agency. I noticed with certain clients, I ran into the same problem over and over again. Their offering was just not grabbing the prospect's heart and wrestling them into purchasing submission. Why? Many of these business owners were so far down the road in their journey and so in love with their product, they forgot who they were serving, missing some essential steps along the way. So, I'm pivoting focus. Join me as I go behind the scenes with the most brilliant entrepreneur minds to demystify the nitty-gritty marketing hacks needed to be successful before spending thousands on advertising that ultimately separate the internet legends from the dreamers. On the previous episode, you heard from Seth Silvers, who outlined beautifully how to motivate buyers through storytelling in the marketplace. It is an episode you absolutely do not want to miss. But before you check that out, stick around. I've got Dr. Benjamin Hardy coming right up next. Dr. Ben is a great friend of mine who just released a new book titled Personality Isn't Permanent. And I know that it is sure to break down any false beliefs that you've got in your life. In this particular episode, he talks about the power of blogging to create the true asset in any business, a list. So stick around to hear what he has to say. Welcome to the Marketing Matrix podcast. I'm your host, Lisanne Murphy, and I'm here with the incredible, talented, great friend of mine, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Dr. Ben, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Yes, Lissy. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be amazing. I want to take a second to introduce this incredible entrepreneur, and I'm going to give him a chance to wow us with his stuff. We just finished his long episode, guys, which we're going to release in a couple days. And guys, it's fire. You cannot miss it. It is seriously so good. So Dr. Benjamin Hardy is an organizational psychologist and best-selling author of Willpower Doesn't Work. His blogs have been read over 100 million people and are featured on Forbes, Fortune, CNBC, Cheddar, Big Think, and many others. He is a regular contributor to Inc. and Psychology Today, and from 2015 to 2018, he was the #1 writer in the world on Medium.com. A little bit about his personal life. He and his wife, Lauren, adopted 3 children through the foster system and in February 2018. And then 1 month later, Lauren became pregnant with twins who were born in December of that same year. They live in Orlando. And on a personal note, Ben and I have known each other for a long time. We both were talking about our dreams and our futures and how we wanted to make an impact in the world while we were in college before either of us really discovered this online world. And so it's really fun to kind of come together and geek out on this stuff that is, I don't know what, I guess it's probably almost a decade that we've known each other close.
Yeah, it's been about 8 or 9 years.
Yeah. It's amazing to see how we've both transformed, but are still at the core, just these big dreamers who are just trying to make a difference. It's awesome. So
Absolutely.
Ben, thank you again so much for being on the Marketing Matrix.
I love it. Very happy to be with you.
So for those of our listeners that aren't as familiar with your background, I would love for you to just share quickly, like, how did you become this incredibly prolific writer and just someone who's impacting hundreds of thousands of people?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of writing, I would say even with, new books that I've written, not easy. Writing is difficult, but it's something that I fell in love with doing. I served a church mission. That got me into journaling, reading books, and ultimately I decided I wanted to be a writer. And basically from 2015 to now, I've just been blogging, a lot of it on Medium.com, writing books. But yeah, I would just say a lot of education, a lot of online courses have taught me how to do what I've done, but very much a very clear commitment to who I wanted to be. I wanted to be a professional author and was very committed to learning how to do it. I actually did not want to be a blogger, fully honest with you. I just wanted to write books. And it was a tough reality check when I realized I had to start doing some of this other stuff, blogging, even stuff like this wasn't in my plans, but like once you're committed to a goal, you get committed to a process. So
yeah, I love that. Well, guys, Ben has a new book that's coming out called Personality Isn't Permanent. We talk about that in depth in the long episode. And so make sure to check that out because it is coming out and Ben has lots of incredible bonuses along with that will help you get even more out of the book and more out of your entrepreneurial journey. But for now, we know we've got one question that we're focusing on here in this interview, and it's this, Ben. It's what small marketing strategy or tactic has made the biggest difference in your business and why?
Blogging, 100%. But blogging in an intelligent way, blogging on the right platforms where there's already embedded audiences, and then having a very simple, clear, compelling call to action taken to a landing page, giving something very simple and specific away. So it's, like blogging in and of itself as a concept doesn't necessarily work for a lot of people. It's blogging on the right platforms. For me, it was Medium. I think LinkedIn is a brilliant platform because there's already huge audiences there. I mean, even you could technically blog on like Facebook, but blogging and then with a clear call to action with a very compelling, easy, friction-free giveaway to a landing page. That thing is the thing that has helped me the most, and it continues to help me. It's how I've built a big email list and, a great living, and also become a professional writer. Like that one thing.
I love it. So for someone who is interested in taking the writer and author route in their entrepreneurial journey, do you have any tips or tactics for like how to get started on that simple tactic that you just brought up?
Yeah. Start on a platform that already has people existing. I would say Medium, social media platforms, LinkedIn, depending on what you're writing about. And two thoughts. One is I didn't start writing for a long time because I was afraid of saying the wrong thing. I was afraid of saying something that was inaccurate or that would lead someone the wrong way or something like that. And then ultimately I decided it's better to be anxiously engaged in a good cause, right? Like better to be doing something of yourself. And so it's important to realize this, like current version of Benjamin Hardy, when I read some of my old blog posts, I kind of cringe. Like sometimes I've said things in the past that I don't agree with anymore because future version of me has different perspectives. And that is something that, again, I was afraid of, but now I realize I'm really grateful for. And so I know that future version of me is going to disagree with some of the stuff I say now. And that's no reason to not write, because I actually had a lot of great success in my old writing, even though I don't agree with all of what I used to say. I'm really glad I did it because I learned through that process. And also I did impact people and as well as able to achieve my goals. And so I really like the quote, better prolific than perfect. It's just do a lot of work. I like the idea of also eat the frog. Usually if you wait before 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whenever your life gets busy during the day to write, you probably didn't do it that day. And so for me, it's like right before life gets busy. If you're a night owl, then go ahead and do it at night. But I think writing for me in the morning, focusing on the important over the urgent, and writing in the morning for me, I journal a lot, journal and sketch out. Just as one example with writing, it's really important to break out an outline. So like they call it have the bones. If you have the bones, you're solid. So start with the headline, and there's obviously lots of great strategies for headlines. But you really need to start with the bullets, and the bullets are like the subheadings, the 4 or 5 major ideas. If you can get those, where it's like, if I'm writing an article about, for example, how to blog, well, what are the 3 or 5 things that I want people to know about? Well, headline, just thinking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main ideas. If you have that, then you just write. And so I think setting yourself up in the beginning allows you to write really easily. And so just for me, I do that in the journal. I just sketch out what are the main ideas in this article, and then I just plop them into Medium and I just write. And don't overly edit yourself. When you're just writing, write a first draft, write a crappy draft. Actually, what I do is I write a crappy first draft and I push publish so that then it's public. And then I edit it while it's public. Cause then I'm like, I've got to edit it right now because people are starting to see it, And so, like there's typos all over the place. I'll even push publish, send it to my email list. And I'm like, oh crap, now lots of people are reading it. I got to go edit it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. There's like 500 typos, but I like the idea of sticking it out in public and then learning in public is the best way to learn. So tell people you want to be a writer, start writing. I would also point you to John Morrow's course. John Morrow is a genius blogging instructor. He's got a course that will teach you exactly how to write headlines. I actually obviously have an online course as well that would teach you the same things, but got a point to John.
I love that. Well, and I love how it's really about imperfect action, but make sure that it's consistent. Like consistency really is
Volume is the key. That was one thing I learned and I watched, honestly, because I stepped away from Medium for about 2 years. There are people, and the reason I have hope for Medium still is because 2 years ago when I walked away and I had already launched Willpower Doesn't Work, and I had to go back and finish the PhD. And then I've written 2 books since then. I haven't really been blogging for 2 years. But there was people 2 years ago who were just starting and they were throwing out trash. I'm telling you, their articles were terrible. But they were throwing out tons of trash, like they were pumping out articles like 4 or 5 times a week. And I was impressed with their persistence. I disappear for 2 years. I come back. These people are killing it. I'm like, holy cow, that person got good. Like they're great. And I'm now learning from them because I'm like, holy cow, like they're so good at structuring their articles. And with articles and with content in general, structure almost matters more than the content itself. Like you could be the most amazing teacher or have the most amazing ideas, but if you don't have the right headline or the right structure, it's not going to work. And so be fascinated and learn from those who are doing good things. But I mean, it's been fun to go back and look at the people who were terrible a few years ago and be like, wow, they're now crushing it. And they're so good now. It's fun to watch that transformation, that deliberate practice.
Yeah, well, realize if they would have waited, it would have either taken longer or never happened at all. Like
they would have never gone through that transformation. And that's a beautiful aspect of learning in general, is you get to go back and you get to see how far you've come. And that is very motivating and it's exciting. And you should cheer on your former self for taking those courageous leaps.
I love it. I love that where it's if you are putting out content, to put it in a place where there are already eyes, and find a way to capture those eyes where you can continue to talk with them through an email list. I love that strategy. That's awesome, Ben. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, this is Ben Hardy. How can people find you on the socials, follow your journey, pick up your book?
BenjaminHardy.com. If you go to BenjaminHardy.com, you'll see all the blogs. You will see free online courses you can get. Actually, I do give away a free full instruction on all of my Medium strategies, on how I got published on any platform I wanted to be, how I got a 6-figure book deal. I actually give away the book proposal for this book, Willpower Doesn't Work, which Ryan Holiday helped me with. So there's all sorts of free goodies and giveaways at BenjaminHardy.com.
That's awesome. Okay, we will be sure to put the link there. We're going to push that in the socials. Guys, this is Dr. Benjamin Hardy, good friend of mine. Again, thank you so much for being with us on the Marketing Matrix today.
Lissy, you're amazing.
Thank you for tuning into the Marketing Matrix podcast. On the next episode, we hear from Dr. Benjamin Hardy again. This time, it's his deep dive into how this powerhouse entrepreneur grew his business through blogging on medium.com to jumpstart his career as an expert author. He is an absolute genius and always changes how I look at the world and situations. This is definitely one you want to catch. He's also doing an incredible promotion to support his book launch. So if you want tons of help to start the content production in your business, check out his book called Personality Isn't Permanent and the bonus courses that are available. And while I've got you, I wanted to remind you about the Marketing Matrix Toolbox. This resource has tons of free marketing tools to make your marketing journey easier. We add new content to it each week, so check it out and register for instant access at toolbox.themarketingmatrixpodcast.com. And if you want to join the conversations surrounding marketing, make sure to check out my free Facebook ads for coaches, course creators, and lifestyle brands Facebook group. This is an awesome community of people trying to master the ad game and scale their business while saving time. You can join that group for free at www.facebook.com/groups/FBAdNinjas. All right, guys, that's it for now. See you next time on The Marketing Matrix.